Today, we're going to go deep on something that isn't just a marketing tactic. No, this is more of a fundamental philosophy, something that really separates the businesses that have fleeting success from the ones that build enduring empires. It's called the Ascension Funnel, and it's a system designed to do something pretty radical. To take a single, simple transaction and turn it into a lifelong, profound transformation for your customer.
And just take a second and let that sink in. Think about that cha-ching you get on your phone when a sale comes through. It feels like a win, right? It feels like the end of the road. You think, job done. But what if that feeling, that sense of finality, is actually the single biggest mistake you're making? What if, right in the middle of your celebration, you're missing the entire point? What if you're celebrating at the finish line of a race that your customer has just begun? This is the core paradox we're going to unpack today. So our journey today is going to be a 6-part deep dive. We'll kick things off by diagnosing the flawed present, exposing what I call the single transaction trap that so many businesses fall into. Then we're going to rewind the clock and look at the crisis that forced this change in thinking, the great ad spend burnout. From there, we'll get into the good stuff, dissecting the elegant solution, the ladder of logic, and understanding the deep human psychology that makes it all tick. Then we'll get practical, laying out the blueprint for architecting the ascension yourself. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the core philosophy that holds it all together: pull, don't push. All right, let's start with the problem, the one that's happening right now in millions of businesses all over the world. It's this deep, alluring, and completely destructive cycle known as the single transaction trap. You know, here's the brutal irony of it all. The harder you push for that very first sale, the more aggressive your discounts, the more urgent your buy now tactics, the more you're basically training your customer to see you as a one-time thing, a commodity. Yeah, you get that quick hit of first-time revenue, and it feels good. It's like finding a single gold coin on the street. But what you don't see is that in the background, the entire treasure chest of a long-term, high-value relationship is just sinking into the sand. You're winning a tiny battle, but you're losing the entire war for loyalty and, more importantly, for sustainable profit. Now, what's really fascinating here is how this frames the whole mindset shift. The old way of doing things, the old paradigm, it's all about closing doors. You make a sale, you close the door, you're on to the next lead. It's purely transactional. It sees the customer as just a buyer, and your job is to take value from them. But the new paradigm, the Ascension model, it's all about building ladders. The focus shifts entirely to lifetime value. It sees the customer not as a buyer, but as the protagonist in their own story. And your job, it's to elevate them, to help them climb to the next level. See the difference? One model ends a relationship, the other begins an evolution. So, to really understand why this shift wasn't just a good idea, but an absolute necessity, we have to go back in time. We need to talk about the crisis that completely broke the old model for good. Let's call it the great ad spend burnout. To really get the genius of the Ascension model, you have to understand the crisis that gave birth to it. See, back in the mid-2020s, this perfect storm just slammed into the digital economy. First, you had the privacy upheaval. Companies like Apple and Google started tightening the screws on tracking, which made it way harder and way more expensive to follow users around the web. The clean, reliable data that marketers had built their entire empires on, it turned to mud seemingly overnight. And at the exact same time, competition just exploded. Every brand out there, from huge corporations to tiny startups, was bidding for the same digital ad space, and costs went through the roof. This created this terrifying tipping point, a moment of cold, hard math. The customer acquisition cost, or CAC, what you spend to get one new customer, started to become more expensive than the lifetime value, or LTV, you could expect from their first purchase. The traditional sales funnel, it stopped being a way to make money. It became a financial sinkhole, a place where businesses just poured cash in only to watch it disappear. The model was fundamentally broken. And this crisis, it forced this profound, industry-shaking realization. Chasing new customers, what we call new traffic, had become a losing game. It was this infinite, exhausting treadmill of spending more and more money for less and less return. The only way to get off that treadmill, the only place left to find sustainable, predictable profit, was in your old traffic, your existing customers. The entire focus had to shift from get new customers at all costs to nurture the garden you've already planted. It wasn't just about growth anymore. It was about survival. And out of the ashes of this crisis, a new type of leader emerged. These were the Ascension architects. These were the innovators who looked at the wreckage of the old model and saw a new path forward. They got it. They understood that a successful business couldn't act like a vending machine, where a customer puts money in, gets one thing out, and that's the end of the story. No, it needed to function more like a career path, a guided journey where the customer could grow and advance and achieve new levels of success, with you as their trusted guide. They stopped obsessing over the short-term metric of return on ad spend and started measuring something way more powerful, the 6-month value delta. Basically, how much a customer's success and their value to the business grew over time.
And this right here, this is the philosophical leap they made. They realized that deep down, people aren't just buying stuff or looking for a discount. They're investing in a better future. They are looking for the next version of themselves. It doesn't matter if they're learning a new skill or trying to improve their health or grow their business. The thing they buy is just a vehicle for their own personal evolution. The most successful companies realized this and stopped selling products. They started selling transformations.
So, if the problem was this transactional dead end, the solution had to be an elegant, logical ladder. It's time to pull back the curtain and look at the engine that drives the Ascension Funnel, what we call the ladder of logic. The engine itself is built on this deceptively simple 4-stage climb. Now, this isn't just a random sequence of upsells. Oh no, this is a carefully choreographed journey. It's designed to feel natural, logical, even inevitable to the customer. It's a process that moves them from a place of trust to a place of total transformation. It starts with a low-friction entry to solve an immediate problem. Then it moves to a critical success milestone to prove your value. Then it brilliantly reveals a new, higher-level challenge. And finally, it all culminates in that complete transformation. Each stage just stacks on top of the last one, creating this incredible momentum that pulls the customer forward. Let's break each one down.
Stage 1 is all about one thing: trust. You're not trying to change their life with the first interaction. You're not asking for some huge commitment. Your only goal is to solve one small, specific, urgent problem for them, a symptom of a bigger issue. Think of it like this. If your customer wants to become a master chef, you don't try to sell them a $2,000 culinary course on day one. You give them a free guide to the 5 essential knife skills. It's a low-cost or even free entry point. The price is low, but the value you give them is incredibly high. This earns you what we call a micro yes. It just breaks the ice and plants a tiny seed of trust. And at this stage, profit is completely irrelevant. Trust is everything.
Okay, stage 2. This is the pivot point of the entire system, and honestly, this is where most businesses just fail spectacularly. They get impatient, they pitch the next product immediately after the first purchase. The Ascension model forbids this. Instead, you wait. You give your customer the time and space to actually use that first thing you gave them. You track their usage. You wait until they have a win. Maybe they completed a module in your course or used a key feature in your software 3 times. Whatever it is, you wait until they have genuinely experienced success. Their win is your trigger. That's the key. Their win is the proof that you deliver on your promises, and it makes them deeply, deeply receptive to whatever you have to say next. Now, here's where the real magic happens. Once they've gotten that win, you re-engage. But you don't just pop up and say, hey, want to buy something else? No, you reframe their reality. You show them that their recent success, the very one you helped them achieve, has actually unlocked a brand new, more advanced problem. It's like helping someone climb a hill, only to turn around and reveal a beautiful, massive mountain right behind it. For example, hey, congratulations on getting your first 1,000 leads with our tool. That is an incredible milestone. But now, you have a brand new challenge. How do you nurture all of them without letting them go cold? See, the next product you offer is positioned as the only logical solution to this new, higher-level problem. It's not an upsell anymore. It's the necessary next step on their journey. So after climbing these carefully placed rungs of the ladder, the customer finally reaches the final stage, transformation. This is the summit. This is where your high-ticket offers live, your premium programs, your masterminds, your top-tier services. But by this point, it doesn't feel like a high-stakes, risky purchase. Not at all. It feels like a natural evolution. It's the culmination of a journey that you've taken together. You've guided them from solving some small, nagging symptom all the way to achieving mastery in their world. You have turned a cold lead into a true partner, simply by architecting and guiding the growth that they were always looking for.
So here's the bottom line. The key metric for the world's most sophisticated brands is not conversion rate. It's Ascension Velocity. Just let that phrase sink in for a moment, Ascension Velocity.
They aren't just measuring sales, they are measuring the speed at which a customer consumes value, achieves success, and outgrows their current level. They are obsessed with how quickly they can help someone become ready for the next step. If your ascension velocity is high, your business is healthy, profitable, and creating real impact. If it's low, you've got a bottleneck somewhere in your value ladder and you need to go fix it. This is the pulse of a modern, thriving business.
Okay, so we've seen the what and we've seen the how, but now we need to explore the why. Why is this model so incredibly effective? Well, it's because it's built on a deep and fundamental understanding of human psychology. It just aligns with the way all of us are hardwired to think and act.
This whole model is built on something you could call the success paradox. Just think about the last time you achieved something you worked really hard for. What happened? Your brain released dopamine. You got that incredible initial spike of victory and satisfaction. But that feeling doesn't last, does it? After a little while, the novelty wears off, our motivation dips, and our brain immediately starts looking for the next peak, the next challenge to conquer. The Ascension Funnel masterfully anticipates this biological reality. Just as the dopamine from that last win begins to fade, it presents the next logical mountain to climb. Because if you don't provide that next peak for your customer, you can be sure of one thing: a competitor will. So when you boil it all down, this isn't about manipulation. Not at all. It's about alignment. We are fundamentally story-seeking animals. In our own lives, we all want to be the hero on a journey. We want to progress from being a novice to becoming a master, from a state of fear to a state of confidence. An Ascension Funnel simply provides the clear, structured path for that story to unfold. By managing their transformation, instead of just selling them products, you become their trusted guide. You become their North Star in a world that is just full of endless, confusing choices.
All right, we've covered the history, the mechanics, and the psychology. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually build this thing in your own business? It's time to look at the architectural blueprint for architecting Ascension. I want you to just pause for a second and genuinely ask yourself this question. Forget about your products for a minute. What is the ideal 12-month journey for your customer? From the very first day they meet you to the day they become a master of their craft. What does that path actually look like? Thinking like this is the very first step to becoming an Ascension architect. The whole process can really be broken down into 3 concrete steps. First, you map the value gradient. This is that 12-month path we just talked about. Literally write it down, from their first small win to their ultimate transformation. Second, you identify the success triggers. For each step on that map, you have to pinpoint the exact moment a user feels a win. That specific action or result becomes your trigger to re-engage. And third, you engineer the promotion. You design the bridge to the next step. And pay really close attention to the language here. You stop calling it an upsell and you start framing it as an upgrade or an advanced phase or a well-earned promotion. This isn't just about playing with words. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. You're not selling, you're advancing that.
And this all brings us to the final, enduring philosophy that underpins this entire model. It's a simple idea, but it changes everything about how you look at marketing and growth.
This is the synthesis of everything we've talked about today. On one hand, you have the cold, hard logic of economics. The numbers absolutely prove that guiding a customer up a value ladder increases their lifetime value, it reduces churn, and it creates predictable profit. That's the math. But on the other hand, you have the warm, undeniable reality of human aspiration. We all want to be better. We want to grow. We want to climb. The Ascension Funnel works so well because it satisfies both of these realities at the exact same time. It's profitable because it's human. So the crucial takeaway is this. The old way was all about pushing for the sale, pushing for the conversion, just pushing people through a rigid one-way process. The Ascension Funnel is about pulling. It creates this powerful gravitational pull toward the next level of value, the next stage of success, the next version of themselves. It builds a bridge of success over a canyon of transactions. And when you do that, you don't just build a business, you build a legacy. You stop being a vendor and you start being a guide. And that changes everything.